My stepfather made me practice copying my mother's handwriting until I could replicate every single loop and curve perfectly. I was 11 years old. The night it stopped being practice, everything changed. He called it calligraphy training. Every single evening after dinner, 7 o'clock on the dot, he'd set a timer, slide one of my mom's old grocery lists across the kitchen island, and say, "Make it identical. A sloppy boy is a boy who fails in the real world." If the slant of an S was even slightly off, he'd tear the paper up and make me start over. I spent months tracing her letters. I learned the exact way she pressed hard on her T's, and how her Y's always trailed off at the bottom. By the time winter rolled around, I could write a full page of her handwriting faster than she could. I thought it was just him being overly strict. My mom was really sick back then. She spent most of her days resting upstairs in her bedroom, frail and tired, trusting my stepdad to handle the bills, the business, and everything else. He played the part of the perfect, caring husband when neighbors were around. But behind closed doors, he was always pacing the hallway, always on the phone with his accountant, talking in hushed, angry whispers about his gambling debts and frozen assets. The night the training finally made sense was a freezing Thursday in November. My mom had been moved to the hospital that morning. Stepdad came into my room around midnight. He wasn't angry this time. He was overly sweet, which was honestly much worse. He set a piece of heavy, expensive parchment paper on my desk, along with a fountain pen. "I need a massive favor, buddy," he said, his voice shaking just a little bit. "Your mom wanted to write down her final wishes for the estate, but her hands are just too weak right now. She told me exactly what to say. I just need you to write it down for her, exactly in her handwriting." He handed me a rough draft. I read it quickly. It transferred every single penny, the house, and her massive life insurance policy directly to him, cutting me out completely. I stared at the paper, and that's when it hit me like a ton of bricks. All those months of grueling practice. He didn't care about my penmanship. He was broke. He knew the bank and the lawyers would never accept a typed document or his own messy scrawl. He needed a flawless forgery, and he built his very own 11-year-old forgery machine to get it. I was the rehearsal. The will was the performance. "Can you do it?" he asked, hovering right over my shoulder. "Of course," I said, keeping my voice dead steady. "I'm perfectly trained." He smiled, patted my back, and left the room to pour himself a drink, telling me to bring it downstairs when I was finished. I picked up the pen. I wrote out the entire legal document flawlessly. Her signature at the bottom was an absolute masterpiece. But I didn't stop there. I grabbed a second sheet of paper. Using his messy, aggressive, unmistakable handwriting, which I had also been secretly practicing out of pure boredom, I wrote a second note. A full, detailed confession of exactly what he had forced me to do, his hidden debts, and his plan to steal everything. When I walked downstairs, I didn't hand him the paper. I slipped out the back door into the snow, walked straight to the police station 3 blocks away, and handed the desk sergeant both letters. My mom recovered a few months later and kept the house. My stepdad went to prison, thanks to his very own written confession. If you loved this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more.